الحمد لله رب العالمين بارئ الخلائق أجمعين باعث الأنبياء والمرسلين ثم الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الخلق وأعز المرسلين حبيب إله العالمين أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعلى آل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المنتجبين سيما بقية الله روحي وأرواح العالمين له الفداء. قال الله الحكيم في محكم كتابه الكريم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قد أفلح من زكاها وقد خاب من دساها آمنا بالله صدق الله العلي العظيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. Mu'mineen and mu'minat, brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make this a blessed evening for all of us, Laylat Jumu'ah, inshallah, filled with blessings and the opportunity to seek forgiveness for ourselves and for our marhumeen, inshallah. It has been our tradition to try and reflect on our journey to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the journey of purification, tazkiyatun nafs, on these evenings. And we have been reflecting on lines from Dua Makarim al-Akhlaq from Imam Zainul Abidin alayhi salam. Dua Makarim al-Akhlaq, as we said, it is all about Islamic ethics, or the most honorable levels of ethics and morality that humanity can ever expect or can ever reach. Many beautiful lines in this dua. The section that we were at is where the Imam salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi asks Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to dress him and ornament him, beautify him with the beautification and the ornaments of the pious and the God-weary ones, muttaqeen and salihin, to be always concerned and focused on justice and spreading justice, and to control one's anger and emotions, that it does not affect our judgment, and therefore, God forbid, lack of justice through anger or through the ill feelings towards others. That's often what happens for people to be unjust and unfair. وكظم الغيظ وإطفاء النائرة وضم أهل الفرقة, to make us amongst those who bring people together, even those who naturally or who by default try to divide. I mentioned some people by default, the first thing they try to do is divide. Whether it be between them and others or other people from each other. They divide, they themselves basically keep themselves out and divide with others, create problems and so on. By default, some people have that nature for some reason. Even those people, we bring them together. We come together with them and bring them together with others. وإصلاح ذات البين, and also to make sure that we reconcile and reform between people who have ill feelings or problems with one another. وإصلاح ذات البين وإفشاء العارفة وستر العائبة. We went through these lines last week, that help me, Ya Allah, we ask God to help us spread the good things, the good behavior, display it so that others can also copy it, and give that positive feedback. Ifsha al-arifa, when you see goodness, share it with the person you see goodness from, and share it with others. In other words, compliment somebody who does something good, give them positive feedback, compliment them on the good that they did, and when they do the wrong thing, you conceal over their errors. وَسَتْرِ الْعَائِبَةِ. By nature, most of us people do the opposite. When we see something good, we say nothing, as if nothing happened. And we only speak out when something bad happens. And I did mention that last week. I'm not suggesting that we should not give what is called and referred to as constructive criticism. You can give it when it is positive, when it's intended positively, when it is intended to bring about positive change, when it's intended to try and help somebody realize their errors so that they can improve, not when it's intended to simply put someone down or vent out. I feel bad, therefore I'm going to say something. It's not going to do anything positive, I'm just going to say it. That is not the behavior of an honorable, faithful person. Makarim al-akhlaq dictate that. We do the opposite. If Sha'il Arifa, spread the goodness. When you see good things, spread them. Deliberately speak about them. You have a good experience with a mu'min brother or sister, a person that you're doing business with, and you see something good, share it. Spread the goodness. And on the other hand, when you see something not so positive or something negative, hide it and don't expose them, unless again the purpose of that is to help them become better, to help them. And we know what our intentions are. We can, oftentimes we justify things. I speak out only, I intend good. Deep within you whether you're sharing it only to vent out and to make yourself feel better, or really to help somebody. The next couple of lines is what I want to reflect on for tonight, the new lines that we're sharing. ولين العريكة وخفض الجناح وحسن السيرة وسكون الريح وطيب المخالقة. Inshallah, if we can get through these lines. Again, each one of these lines are amongst the honorable characteristics of the best and the highest of the beautiful characteristics or ethical characters of a good human, a good, especially believer. Walin al-arika. Arika is when you are, how you deal with people in general. How you get in terms of what your temper, your mood with people. Lean is to be gentle, to be soft, versus to be hard and harsh. So a believer should be easy to deal with. If you want, the term that could be used here is amicability. To be easy, to be amicable, to not be so hard to approach, so difficult to approach. Some people, you don't want to approach them, you don't want to talk to them. You know that they're so negative even if you could get something positive from them, because of all the negativity that may come with it, you avoid them. We should not be, as a believer, we should not have that negative approach and negative mood within us. We should be positive, easy to approach, amicable. ولين العريكة وخفض الجناح. خفض الجناح, janah literally means the wing. Lowering wings is an expression which is also referred to in the Holy Quran, and it's actually, the expression is about being humble, especially before parents. Before parents we should be extremely humble. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us that we should وَخْفِضْ لَهُمَا جَنَاحَ الذُّلِّ مِنَ الرَّحْمَةِ. Before your parents you should be humble, and so humble that it is even at the level of humiliating yourself. Before parents. Before others, you don't do that. Before kings and authority, you don't do that. Islam teaches us that you don't go and lower and humiliate yourself against someone because they have the authority. No. You act like a good Samaritan, you behave well in front of authority, but you don't humiliate yourself. But for parents, Hadith says, yes, humiliate yourself. For parents, وَخْفِضْ لَهُمَا جَنَاحَ الذُّلِّ مِنَ الرَّحْمَةِ. Because of mercy, out of mercy, not because I'm expecting inheritance. Unfortunately, I've seen in this country now, in some parts of the world, inheritance is automatically calculated based on the Islamic law and how it should go. In this country, it's based on the will, and this reminds us as believers that we should have a will. Everybody should have their will, and that's where they specify how it goes. And I've heard from many parents, Muslim parents, who say, I want to exclude this son or this daughter. They're not dutiful. Islamically, you're not allowed to do that. Excluding your children in your inheritance is not allowed. It goes based on Islamic law. It is not your choice. Yes, in your life, it's your choice. In your life, you can give one of your children and not give the other gifts. Although it's not recommended, it is highly discouraged in certain circumstances unless there are good reasons for it. But as an inheritance, we can't do that. Back to our topic, for parents, we should be humble, not because of that. Humiliate yourself not because of what you expect from them, no, because of min ar-rahma, because of the mercy that you should have towards them, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put in them towards you, and you should pay it back. They gave you so much mercy, therefore you pay them back with humility because of your mercifulness. وَخَفْضِ الْجَنَاحِ, in general, we should have that, the level of being humble. Before people, we don't need to be arrogant. Yes, you don't humiliate yourself, but you don't act arrogant, you act humble in general, and this is one of the characteristics of a good believer. وَحُسْنِ السِّيرَةِ وَسُكُونِ الرِّيحِ, inshallah we'll continue those next session next week, inshallah. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us the opportunity to be easy going in general, and have amicability, be approachable, and also to be humble, to be always in a humble situation rather than to be arrogant. Wal-'ayadu billah. We ask Him to make us amongst those who listen to what's said and follow what's best. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wa sallallahu wa sallama ala sayyidina wa nabiyyina Muhammad wa alihi at-tayyibin at-tahirin. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa alihi. Yes.
If one of the children are not practicing and they're not Muslim at all, let's just say they became atheists, do you still have to give that money to that person?
Okay, if that is different, that is a different situation. If somebody denounces their faith and so on, then they have certain rules in terms of whether or not they can receive inheritance from a Muslim parent. The general rule of thumb is that if they completely denounce, they do not. However, it cannot be something that somebody claimed or it has to go through the religious authority and be established and verified, because they may make some comments here and there, and some people try and use that and abuse that. So it has to be verified through religious authority for that purpose.
I have one more question.
Sure.
The lecture last week, the difference of was listening to it. Maybe I misunderstood it when it said that people should keep having responsibility as a Muslim, right, not to have children that can starve, and not to have more children that you can afford to feed, right? And it's not the community's responsibility to feed someone else's child because they choose to have 10 children.
Again, I don't want to, it's a lengthy discussion, but I cannot go against the Quran when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala clearly says, do not, وَلَا تَقْتُلُوا, do not ever, and in the Quran and many ahadith, do not ever stop having children or kill the children in fear of poverty. Poverty should never be the reason, because God sustains them and yourselves. And whenever people came to the Prophet and complained about their circumstances, the Prophet suggested that they grow their family rather than make their family, because they come and bring their sustenance with them. Sustenance is on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now how, the means and so on is another discussion, but to not have children because my circumstances financially are not good, that's not the right attitude. That's not what the Quran or the Hadith tells us.
Yeah, not to have children, I'm not saying not to have children, but I'm saying it's like Catholicism. They keep telling people, especially in South America, have as many kids as you can possibly have if you no longer have children.
Yeah.
You're going to get your reward in heaven. All these children are starving to death. I guess I just don't understand how Islam can say the same thing that Catholicism is saying. And look at the children in Pakistan. Look at in India. They have 10, 12 children, and the father isn't even working.
Yeah.
How can they justify that Islamically?
Inshallah, it's a lengthy discussion. I think because it's in consideration of time for prayers, we will adjourn this discussion for another. We can have a lengthy discussion on this, but definitely there is a valid argument there, and one has to consider, how. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, the Prophet says, get married and increase in numbers. So how, and how do we justify those things? That's another discussion, inshallah, we'll have.
And Islam allows birth control.
Of course, of course. As Islam does not have issues with birth control, although some methods may be problematic. Yes, some of them may be. Ahsantum. Thank you. Ahsanallahu ilayk.